I remember getting a message on Facebook from my old 8th grade English teacher asking me if I could help her. I was honestly a little confused because I had not talked to her for a few years and assumed it was something to do with school. Maybe I forgot to turn in something. But it was actually quite opposite. This teacher's name was Libby, and she retired in May when she got out of school and then started selling jewelry through a direct response company. And then by the fall, she was actually the #1 person in the area for that company. She was told by a family member to start her own business, and even though she had had zero background or skills for business, she literally took the leap. I don't know why, but she did.
How did you get started with this? Did you just quit teaching? You're like, oh, I'm gonna go open up a boutique, and that's how it happened? Or
No, actually, not at all. I never even thought about it. It wasn't something that was on my radar or anything like that. One day my sister-in-law just said, you should open a boutique. I just started thinking about it. And the more I thought about it, the more consumed I became with it.
And her message to me was for social media. She sent me the message and said, hey, I need help with social media management. And she heard through our small town that I was helping business owners with this, even though I was living 5 hours away down in the Dallas area. With the power of the internet, I guess that was possible. So I could start posting for her on social media and helping her out. She took a leap of faith, and now 7 years and millions of dollars later, the brand is stronger than ever. So in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how to grow a brand without any business experience, how to foster relationships with people that you've never met, and what to do if you're just starting your clothing brand. And no, you do not have to be older or retirement age to make the strategy work for your brand. I'll explain a little bit more about that later. Building a relationship is literally the foundation for success, longevity, and branding. When I first started working with Libby, she asked me a lot of questions, but my answers were pretty much the exact same. Yes, and document. Let me explain. Most of the time she was asking me questions about whether or not she should be sharing that she had gotten a lot of inventory in, or unwrapping the packages, or that they were going to try on clothes to see what they looked like beforehand and showing them on the website, right? She was asking these questions. They were just thoughts, like, are people actually interesting? And maybe this seems obvious to you now, but back then, brands just posted their clothes. They didn't show behind the scenes or invite people into a story. And I think people without any business experience or background actually have an advantage, and even if you do have a little bit of experience, you can relearn. One thing I told Libby to do was a lot of documentation, right? Documenting with video. Video was becoming more and more popular, and no one was really doing much with it. They were kind of afraid. It's a little intimidating to be in front of camera. I understood that, right? But I encouraged her to not only stand behind the camera, but to be in front of it.
Well, I remember like early days, we were like, we got to do this whole video thing. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
It was just kind of rough. But now you've probably, I mean, who knows how many? Facebook would probably tell us, but I mean, you've probably done thousands of videos at this point, like literally thousands.
The more time that you are with your customer that you have, the more likely you are or they are to trust you. And your customers need that time with you to trust you, and trust is what a brand is built on. Sure, you can sell a shirt or some pants one time, but what I'm talking about is actually building a brand. And one by one, each customer would tell a friend who told a friend, who told another friend, and the word of mouth literally caught on fire. I would rather you have zero business experience than a Harvard business degree. You do not need a degree to run a business, but you do need to be humble and have a drive for learning. When working with Libby, her degree was in teaching and absolutely nothing to do with economics, running a P&L, or even how to do marketing. But this was actually just freeing because she did not have any expectations, and she could get into the weeds of the business and start doing things that were against a little bit of conventional wisdom. She started experimenting with different ways to create content. And what was great about social media is that you have an answer on whether or not it is good almost instantly, right? If your content is not good, you get 0 likes, you get 0 views, you get 0 shares, right? If it's good, it will take off. And for you to build a brand without any business experience, you must take action. You must throw as many things against the wall as possible and see what sticks, right? I want you to go and put out a lot of content and then figure out what your audience wants, and then you can narrow it down. But then please do not do what everyone else does and try to find another thing that could be a winner, right? If you find something that wins, do more of it. Double down on what is working. And for Libby and her boutique, it was lunchtime. She called it Lunch with Lib anyway. It was a lunchtime show where she wore clothes and talked with people of her community and of their interests. People loved her for the entertainment and stuck around to buy a ton of clothes because they just got some lunchtime entertainment. There's people that grabbing their phones, they're pulling it out at lunchtime, watching her, and they're like,
oh, that's a cute outfit. I guess I'll buy it.
she was literally doing live selling before live selling was even like a thing, right? Before Comment Sold even came onto the scene, she was doing these things, and you can too.
What is Lunch with Lib, and kind of explain that for people who don't know.
Well, okay, so Lunch with Lib started out every day at lunchtime. We came on and, did something. Sometimes we had a guest on or whatever, and talked about something that was going on in the community, or, just a plethora of different things. And Lunch with Lib now has kind of evolved into, there are live that we do every day at lunchtime with women on their lunch. And so we kind of changed it a little bit now. It's like live with Lib at lunchtime. And that's, and I mean, women will flat tell you right on there that they cannot wait to hop on at lunchtime to see, what it is that we're, what we're having on there today as far as apparel or, whatever. So.
All right, so hold up just 1 second. I just wanted to say that if you're a clothing brand owner and want to jump into the specifics of your brand and how to grow it profitably online. Now, whether you are an established brand or you are just starting out, it does not matter. We want to talk about the specifics of your brand. So you can schedule a free 45-minute strategy session. Just click the link in the description down below. There are limited spots. You will see that when you look at the calendar. So make sure you grab yours, and we'll see you on the other side. Starting from zero is literally the hardest part in business, and no one talks about it enough. The beginning days were rough for Libby, as they probably are/will be for you. She was in a salon selling women's clothes while they got their hair done, right? Like, you have a captivated audience, but you got to do some weird stuff to try to get the clothes on people while they're getting their hair done and trying things on. It's more difficult.
I went and asked a local girl that owned a salon. It was a very large salon, so she had room. I just, asked her if she'd ever consider me, just starting out this little hobby of mine and opening a boutique, and that's just kind of where it started.
She sold clothes on an Equid site, and some of y'all don't even know what the heck that is. Just know that it's not Shopify or anything that you've ever really heard of. It's not a place to sell products, but she did it. And her whole business was built on Facebook and could be shut down at any moment, right? There was no email marketing. There was no list building. It was literally Facebook. She was making hundreds of dollars per week before she started making thousands, and a lot of time and content later before she was making tens of thousands of dollars per week. It takes time, and a good foundation is needed. But she learned it the hard way, and it is a good lesson for everyone. But I want to share with you the path to make it much faster and easier. You don't need to go through that friction. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not some get-rich-quick scheme. You do need to follow business principles because they are going to be the strong foundation you actually need. Create a list of the top 10 things that define you as a person. This could be political, spiritual, location, sports, parenthood, etc. Use stories about those things to talk about those clothes.
Was there ever even a second guess where you're like, this has nothing to do with the boutique, but more so like, I'm going to post this because this is how I feel like this is how I should share who I am and what Libby's Boutique is about?
We do a lot of things on Facebook that have nothing to do with selling. And I think that's important for your customers to know that, we want to know who they are. We want them to know who we are. And we're not just here to sell, sell, but that we're interested in fun things as well. We do a mission every day at noon. We give back to somebody, some organization, something. And, we're not just here, like I said, we're not just here for the money. We're not just here for the sale. We're here to, really bless other people, because obviously we have been so incredibly blessed my whole life. And now, for sure with the success of the business. So, just feel like we've been blessed to be a blessing to somebody else. So we do that every day at lunchtime as well.
If you don't know what to post or how to post or what's like on trend as far as the short form content, go to TikTok or Instagram Reels and see what is on your feed. Spend time analyzing, not for entertainment, but what you could do in your marketing, and mimic the top videos that are resonating with you. I want you to post 2 to 3 times per day of short form content that is similar to what you are seeing in your feed, and use stories about the areas of interest that you have to start to build relationships. Stories invite people in, and then they build relationships, which builds trust, which allows them to buy. So many people get the attention. Attention is the most important part, because if you don't have attention, nothing else works. But once you have the attention, then you can build a relationship. All of the other things, the stories behind this, that's what it's going to draw people in. The amount of content per day will streamline your messaging for yourself and your audience, and it will help platforms understand what you stand for and who to put you in front of. because the last thing you want to do is create content that's unclear and then you get in front of everybody and you get no consistency. The platforms want to reward the people that are creating content consistently and that have consistent messaging, because they know that the people who are consuming that content will come back because of it. Then you will need to make sure your basics are set up. A high converting website with clear messaging, email and SMS capture. Please make sure you're doing SMS. So many people are not capturing SMS. Make sure you're collecting email addresses and sending those out. Again, so many people are not doing that. You need it. Do not build your business on Facebook. You need to nurture those relationships.
Anytime somebody shops with us for the very first time, I personally write them a note, talk to them about what they bought, just try to build that first initial, and let them know. We send them emails, after they bought, thanking them again for it.
And fast and effective shipping and packaging to wow your customer when they do receive their package. That's all important things. Everything, and I mean everything, is about the right messaging to the right person. Did you know that even if you nail your messaging and know your audience like the back of your hand, if you do not put more eyeballs on your brand, then your growth will be limited? It's just that simple, right? You have to have attention. The next step is controlling the traffic to your messaging, and you can do that with Facebook and Instagram ads. Go watch exactly how to set up your clothing brand ads right here next. All right, y'all, have a great rest of your day. I will see you next time, and P.S., make sure you subscribe.